How does a cold plunge burn fat? I've known a lot about the benefits of cold plunging for years, but in doing more research on this topic, I've realized that there's a whole nother layer of science that I had to share with you. And no, this isn't just about calorie burn. It's actually more about how your body responds at a cellular and hormonal level, and how you can use it in real life without falling for the hype. And before we get deeper into it, I do want to stop and say that this video and topic is sponsored by Plunge. If you have any questions or you want to do more research on the Plunge products, I will have a link and a discount code down in the description that you should check out after this video. But let's get right into it. Let's start simple. If you're new to this and you just want the basics, think of your body as a smart home that knows the exact temperature it needs for everything to run perfectly. When it gets too cold, the heater automatically turns on. In the body, that heater is something called brown fat. This is a special type of fat whose only job is to burn energy and make heat. Now, I already knew that, but there's another layer to this that I didn't fully understand. And it makes a whole lot of sense. Brown adipose tissue, or BAT, B-A-T, is packed with mitochondria, those little power plants inside your cell. It also has a special protein called UCP1, or uncoupling protein 1. Normally, your mitochondria use food to generate ATP, which is also your body's energy currency. But when UCP1 is activated, it skips ATP and releases that energy as pure heat. And this is called non-shivering thermogenesis, and it feels really good. When you get into icy cold water, BAT activation can increase your daily calorie burn by up to 188 calories. That's been shown in studies where people were exposed to mild cold temperatures for a few hours, which isn't normal, as I've realized from reviewing a lot of studies. The studies are not normal, and that's why I don't typically review studies on my channel. I think studies are great, but I like to test the things the way we're actually going to use them. Anyway, it's not just about brown fat. Cold exposure can also turn white fat, which is the stubborn fat we don't really like to see, into beige fat, which behaves more like brown fat and helps burn energy instead of storing it. This is why people keep talking about how a cold plunge can melt fat. It can, but not likely. But here's what I thought was interesting. You see, cold plunges also can trigger a powerful hormonal change. Actually, quite a few. Adiponectin, which improves insulin sensitivity, a good thing. Irisin, I think I'm saying these right, not a scientist, but learning a lot. This helps convert white fat into beige fat. And FGF21. This helps regulate glucose and even plays a role in longevity. It's like flipping on multiple fat burning and metabolic switches all at one time. And so in theory, a cold plunge a day should help you burn some fat away. And I say theory because we're all different. Biodiversity is a real thing. What works great for somebody may not work great for everybody. And that's why it's important for us to experiment with things like this and figure out what works best for us. That being said, here's the truth that's often left out on the Instagram highlight reels. Yes, cold plunges can burn calories, but the total burn is modest at best. One study showed that sitting in cold water for 30 minutes only burned about 54 extra calories compared to somebody sitting in warm water. And another study showed that people ate on average 240 additional calories after a cold plunge, more than canceling out the burn. Once again, why I don't love content that just reviews studies without going over all of the context. And again, why I like to encourage people to try things out for themselves safely. But I will say this, if your only fat loss strategy is jumping into an icy cold plunge, you will be cold, but you won't necessarily be lean. The magic here is when you combine something like cold plunging with a few other things that are super important, like nutrition, exercise, and recovery. That's when this becomes a tool that works with your body instead of just something you do that makes you uncomfortable for no reason. For me, cold plunging is like adding kindling to a fire. If I've got the big logs already in place and burning, and by big logs, I'm talking about strength training, clean nutrition, proper recovery, and sleep, the cold plunge as the kindling is just gonna help make that fire burn hotter. But if those big logs aren't already in place, all I'm doing is tossing a few twigs on top of wet wood. And personally, I've noticed way more benefits than just fat burning benefits. My recovery after a workout feels faster. My mental clarity is sharper for hours. And there's a mood boost that you just can't ignore. And that's the dopamine effect, which is also a whole nother video all on its own. So make sure you subscribe because there's a lot of really cool content already on my channel, but there's a lot of really cool stuff coming. And that's truly what I love about this. I've tried cold plunging first thing in the morning. I've cold plunged after intense workouts. And I've paired sauna sessions with my cold plunge. For me, the sauna to cold plunge contrast therapy hits the hardest. My body feels alive, my mind feels clear, and yes, the metabolism gets a nice kick, so it's a win-win for all. But okay, I get it. You just started cold plunging because you heard Gary Brecka say that it burns fat. Well, if you watched to this point in the video, I might as well give you the secret formula to burning fat in a cold plunge. This is what I would do. If I'm a beginner, I would start with 1 to 2 minutes in a cold plunge. And I will warn you, the first 10 seconds is gonna feel like complete torture. Get through the first 10 seconds. Always listen to your body, and if your fingers and your toes start to feel like they're gonna fall off, get out or turn the temperature up. And always let your breathing settle, calm yourself before you get out. I would aim for water temperature around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. You can go a little bit colder, but I would shorten that session, and you can start a little bit warmer if you're just getting started, and maybe try to stay in a little bit longer. This is also another good reason to invest in a cold plunge that has a chiller that you can manipulate the temperature on, like the plunge, so you can gradually change the temperatures depending on where you're at in your stages of cold plunging. Pair this all with movement every single day and clean nutrition. This way the cold plunge is working with you and not against you. Now there is another way your body can burn more fat in a cold plunge, and that's through shivering. You felt it before, that rapid, almost uncontrollable muscle shaking. At the most basic level, shivering is just your muscles contracting over and over again to make heat, and that takes fuel. Your body will pull the fuel from stored carbs first, but as the minutes go by, it starts breaking down fat to keep the energy coming. And this is called shivering thermogenesis. It's separate from the non-shivering thermogenesis we talked about earlier, and that's something we get from brown fat. Shivering can raise your metabolic rate by up to 5 times your normal baseline levels. And when you shiver, your muscles release a hormone called irisin. I think I'm saying that right. This helps convert white fat into beige fat, once again, like we talked about earlier. This makes you better at burning fat in the cold the next time. In fact, if you cold plunge regularly, you'll probably notice that you shiver way less over time. That's your brown fat becoming more active and efficient, so your body doesn't need the muscle contractions to stay warm anymore. It's like training your internal furnace to do more work so you can relax while it burns through the energy. And remember, the cold shock response is real. Your heart rate will spike, your blood vessels will constrict, and your body goes into fight or flight mode quickly. Ease into it and let your body adapt. And so, does a cold plunge burn fat? The answer? Absolutely. But it's not a magic wand. It's a tool, one that works best when it's a part of a long-term health and wellness strategy. And if you want more information on that, make sure that you like this video, ask any questions down in the comments below, share this with a friend, and subscribe to my channel. If you're thinking about getting a cold plunge for your home, for your work, for your studio, wherever you want to put it, I would definitely recommend you take a look at the Plunge product. Behind me is the Plunge All-In. The chiller and everything is built right into that beautiful tub. The water's always clean, the water's always cold, and it's one of the easiest cold plunges for me to keep operating and maintain. If you want to go crazy and get the whole bundle like me, that's the Plunge All-In, and next to it is the Sauna XL. This is a traditional sauna that fits up to 7 people. We love hosting wellness parties here at our house, and we fit a lot of people in that sauna. Doing contrast therapy, going back and forth, is one of the most euphoric feelings. People are addicted when they experience it. And it's one of my personal favorite ways to recover and unwind after a long, busy day. And like I said, I'll have a link down in the description below to Plunge for you to check out with a discount code that maxes out savings. So make sure you use that when you decide to purchase. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe, because next I'm covering how cold plunges boost dopamine. And that one might just change the way you start your day. Hey, I appreciate you so much for watching the video. If you have any questions I didn't go over, pop them down in the comments below. You can reach out to me on Instagram at DMossJr. I love helping people answer all of their questions there. So feel free to reach out to me there. You can follow me on Instagram. You can subscribe to the channel, or you don't have to do any of that. I just appreciate you for watching it. I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day, my friends, and God bless. And hey, speaking of next video, I'll have a couple of videos pop up on screen right here that I think you might be interested in. Go ahead and click on one of those, and I'll see you there.